Hi, today we want to continue our discussions on setting up a restaurant. We've zeroed on restaurant setup basically. This is where we break down stage by stage the steps that you need to take to realize your dream to becoming a restaurant owner or to make your existing restaurant business very profitable. So you want to follow us on our social media handles, on Instagram, on YouTube, even on Facebook. There are lots and lots of information that can help your business move from where it is to where it ought to be. And of course, if you're just starting out, you don't want to make the mistakes others have made. You want to get it right from the beginning. So today we're continuing our discussions on the construction stage. You've done your planning, gotten all your permits, you are on site. This is the final point where you can correct all possible errors that may mar your business operation. One thing that you should also know is very important is having an hygiene spot just before the entrance and exit of your kitchen. This is very important. This can make the authorities shut down your business. You need to have a washing basin, a hand dryer, or a tissue holder just by the entrance and exit of your kitchen. If your kitchen has 3 exits or entrances, each of those entrance and exits must have a washing basin that has running water and has a possible hand dryer or minimum of a disposable hand towel rail where people can wash their hands. And this is to ensure that staffs that are working in your kitchen master the culture of washing their hands before they go into your kitchen space. And when they're leaving, they wash their hands and dry it up as well. Another thing that you must not forget to implement at the construction stage, these things, like I said, will help your operations. Make sure that the authorities are off your back. They don't come all the time, start asking you to either give them a bribe or they're asking you to implement stuff that will disrupt your operations where you could have easily just implemented them at the construction stage. Another thing that you must make sure you have installed during this stage is that all your wastewater from your kitchen are properly channeled to what we call the fat trap. Now, this is very dicey. Many organizations, many businesses, many restaurants have fat trap installed, but they are non-functional. It can be big, it can be made of stainless steel, it can be small, it could be made of block wall. There are different designs to have for fat trap installations. Our recommendation is that depending on the capacity and the size of your kitchen and the amount of cooking you're going to be doing there, particularly the amount of fat that is involved in your cooking process, is what determines the design and the capacity of the fat trap that you're going to have. I have seen many restaurants who do not either have fat trap installed or they have fat trap not properly installed in their kitchen waistline. Fat trap is very important. Maybe in one of our videos, we're going to break down in details what an efficient fat trap facility or fat trap equipment should look like for a functional restaurant or even a lounge, even a bakery. Fat trap is very important for you to install. Another thing that you must not fail to do at this construction stage is that your services, from your plumbing to your electrical to your CCTV, gas installations, you must get everything right. Let me talk about them one after the other. First, your plumbing. What should a functional plumbing installation for a commercial kitchen, a restaurant kitchen, or any commercial kitchen look like? Number one is that your supply lines must be as independent per equipment as possible. Here's what I mean. If you have 3 water outlet points in your kitchen, for example, each of those 3 water supply points or cold water supply points must be independent to the point that if a point of that installation is 40, you will be able to isolate that particular point while the other 2 areas are working. Let me relate an experience I had many years ago while I was still working as a project manager in one of my 9 to 5. Plumber had done an installation. We had like 6 cold water supply points in that kitchen. The plumber had used 1 stop valve to bring in water and control the entire supply to those 6 installation points. Well, thank God for the eagle eyes that I had. That's not to praise myself, but that's the truth. And then I asked, how many stop valve points do you have for this cold water supply point? He said, I have 1. I said, why? He said, because the funds that were awarded for the project will not be able to support anything more. I was enraged because that is not a professional job to do at all. It is wrong for any plumber who is competent to have even 2 supply points controlled by 1 stop valve. There must be a way that if one is 40, especially at that point where the water is being fetched, there must be a way that the other one must continue to work. One thing you must know that there are certain things, maybe in another video, I'm going to tell you certain things that must never stop working in your restaurant. There are certain things that must never stop working. If they stop working for even 30 minutes in a day, you're going to lose money. You're going to have a lot of disruptions in your operations and so on and so forth. One of them is definitely water supply. You must never have problem with water supply during the day while operations are ongoing. So because because of that, you must ensure that the plumbing installations are properly done. And one of the ways to do that is to ensure that each supply point are controlled independently. There will always be a universal control that brings in water into the entire kitchen space, but you must also be able to isolate per point if the need arises. Same goes with your waste lines. When it comes to kitchen waste line, understand that for us at Marvin Carries Limited, which is the sister company for HBB, there are a lot of things that we do. Maybe we call it our trade secret that we do to ensure your waistline doesn't get blocked. One of the things that you also need to do or tell your plumbers or your mechanical engineers is that they must use proper sizing. You can use 2 inches waste pipe, for example, for a normal sink that you have in your house or even your kitchen, your domestic kitchen. But it is not okay at all to use 2 inches diameter pipe for your kitchen waste lines. The minimum should be 3 inches. If it is possible, 4 inches. Oh yes, 4 inches. The reason why this must be the case is because there are a lot of particles that go through your kitchen waste lines in many commercial kitchens. Even if you have many levels of sieves and the rest of them, there are still a lot of things that go through those sieves. Even the fat, fat coagulates easily and easily block tiny waste lines. So waste lines must be properly sized. And then another hack you need to know is that by the time your waste lines are going out to the external chamber areas, this is a hack. Our advice is that they must flow into a minimum of a 6 inches waistline in between your chambers, all the way to either your sewage treatment or your soak away. Don't know where you want to discharge your waistline to. They must always run in 6 inches waistline. You may think that's too much, but that's what we do. This is why sometimes when you give code to clients, they are not able to understand the reason why your bid is higher than the other person's bid. Because we know how to ensure that you don't have a headache with maintenance as you run your restaurants. Again, people who run restaurants know that they cannot afford to close down their restaurant for 2 hours, for 3 hours because of the maintenance problem that an expert could have picked and projected ways to avoid them at the construction or the planning stage. You lose money in millions when your restaurant's operations stop working. In the end, you discover that it is more of a smarter business decision to properly install kind of waistline that will work for your restaurant than to have your restaurant shut down later because blockages and the rest of them. Let me also add this, that when it comes to your staff toilets, it is also important that you don't use 4 inches pipes to run your soil. That's the poo-poo now. That's what many people understand. To your septic tank. Have you ever wondered, sometimes when plumbers come to your place and they open your chamber, you see a lot of pads. Sorry, that's what we find when we open up chambers for different commercial businesses. You see all these sanitary pads blocking the chambers. The reason is because the waste pipes are too small to allow them to flow through. So minimum of 6 inches. If you have the funds, use 8 inches. The bigger, the better. Again, you also need to understand that there are technical details to these things. You must ensure that the gradients that you have, the distance from the chamber or the pickup point to your sockaway has enough height and distance so that you can have proper slope. Well, there's so much that goes into these things. When you have experts, when you have people that know what they are doing, they know exactly what to do. Still enough to say about plumbing. And also when it comes to plumbing for commercial kitchen, you must also plan hot water installation into your kitchen water installation or water supply installations. You must plan hot water installations into it. It's very important. You must have water heaters in your kitchen. Many restaurants may think they don't need it. You do need it, and you will always need it. So plan that into your installation. Even if you don't need it, do the piping, cap it. As your restaurant business expands and as you engage professionals as chefs and as cooks, you will realize that these things comes handy. It will minimize the need for you to start breaking, to make corrections, for your professionals that you're not employing to be able to work as your business develops. I think that's so much I can remember off the top of my head right now when it comes to plumbing installations. See you in the next video.